All right, so this is um, our Zoom session for our retreat, Cosmogenesis, which Bronwyn and I are going to be doing together. And we're going to be doing it on the 7th till the 9th of August at Inzalo Yelanga, which is known as Adam's calendar to many people. So what we thought we'd do is put together a series of Zooms with questions and answers, and then just give people information, basic information about the retreat and about the space, and maybe make it like an intentional sort of stepping stone as we go along. There might be things that people want to know, or meditations or preparations, things like that. So maybe what we should do is just very quickly, I don't know, Bron, do you want to introduce yourself and, I don't know, just briefly,
Sure.
like from your perspective, how we came to this, retreat together?
Sure. So Amanda and I started working together about 3.5 years ago. She came to me as a client, and I showed her the book that I was then using as my goddess deck, because it was before I'd found a publisher. So I printed them all out as a book, and I muscle tested to see what number it was, and then I'd read the script to the person on the table. And Amanda said, "Those are amazing." And I said, "Thank you, they're mine." And she loved them, and she's loved them since the first minute she saw them. And she said immediately, "Bronwyn, these goddesses need to go to what is called Adam's calendar, because these goddesses they're here, they're amazing, and I love them." And so really, Amanda was one of my first cheerleaders in this endeavor, and she saw what these cards were, these goddesses were, before a publisher did. And it's been really profound working with her, because at every step she's provided more insights for me. I was recently sort of awakened to the metaphysical. I was very strictly quite atheist before, and so Amanda and I have had this beautiful merging of souls. Our goddesses kind of met each other in this lifetime, and we've been together in many lifetimes, and I'm quite sure we were at the calendar and other lifetimes. So the goddesses are 5 elements and 4 element goddesses, which downloaded during sort of orgasmic meditations that I was having in 2020 and 2021. And I very quickly realized that they were a deck of cards. I didn't really know oracle cards very well, so I called them tarot. And they are in the 5 elements as well as the 4 elements, 2 quite alien cultures that have married together. And in my cards, and it's very much about a combination of the known and the obvious, and the things we know about life and daylight and the conscious, mixed with the unknown, the mysterious, and those things that are eternally unknowable in the yin. And we wanted to, so 3 years ago, we wanted to go to re-consecrate this goddess site again at the calendar, and finally it's happening. So I'm extremely excited about it, and I'm bringing sort of my witchcraft and my energy, and my dog is making himself known, and my husband's arriving home. But yes, it's all very exciting, and I'm bringing goddess energy to the space. I want to awaken the goddess within each of us, because each of us is a spark of God and a spark of the goddess, and come into the space for an activation on the divine feminine.
Yeah, wonderful. And you're a kinesiologist, a very talented one. And you've also taken your work, you've expanded it, and you've called it Evolvology, because you've kind of brought in all these more progressive modules, or more progressive aspects, where you can still use sort of using the body to check in with the subconscious for directions and answers and stuff like that. And I remember those. I mean, it's amazing that they were just still all coming through at that point 3 years ago, and these huge drawings, and each one you actually, like, they kind of presented themselves to you, and then you draw them.
It was more
And they
so
came
that
through in like an organized sort of fashion, and you just had to follow and just keep drawing. And then the first deck, and now you've got another like a different series as well that is just completed.
The first was an elemental deck, because my original training in kinesiology is in the 5 elements, Chinese medicine, acupoints. So each goddess has an acupoint as well, and the emotions are drawn out of the 5 elements. If it's a wood goddess, for example, it's liver and gallbladder, which is anger and resentment, repression. If it's metal, for example, the emotions would be grief, guilt, regret, remorse. And so around those themes to allow for elemental healing. And then in 2023, after a terrible hospitalization, around about this time, exactly 3 years ago, actually, I'd just come out of hospital. I'd been misdiagnosed, mistreated, and mismedicated so terribly. And I had a health crisis. And during that time, I had a Kundalini rising experience in the bath. And I didn't know what chakras were already, because I worked with the meridians. And I'd had a 1-day, very brief workshop on where chakras are mentioned. We didn't get deep into it. So I didn't know much about chakras at all. And during this Kundalini rising experience, my chakras popped all the way up my body, and I went into oneness and bliss. And then a second deck of goddesses emerged out of that. And it's an oracle deck that is chakra goddesses, but they also have, because of my 5 element training, I see each chakra, and I call them, I'm putting them in exclamation marks, because I know that other people use different terminology. I know Amanda likes to call them seals, because that's her training. And I love the idea of the fact that they are seals, because they can be opened or closed as needed, as you want to. But I see them as a yin yang, as a little yin yang of dark and light within each chakra. And there are 49 of those. And I'm working with them now pre-publication, because I like to work with them for a while, so I know I can correct the book before it goes out for publication. So there's now 96 goddesses.
Oh, wow. That's incredible.